Let's rewind. This video is about power. Power fascinates me. I've held no power while working as a clerk in McDonald's. That sucked, but I was also young. And later, I've held a decent amount of power, existing as a mini video celebrity in BuzzFeed's cast.
This is like, my size.
That was absurd, but always got a lot of views.
Never mind, I take that back.
And finally, I've held a lot of power, negotiating $1 million real estate contract. That was interesting. I've lived a modest life, so these are my observations on how to acquire power in simple terms.
I'm not through with my examination. Sit down.
If you're starting like I was at McDonald's, the best way to acquire power is to imagine it like a hierarchical triangle. In any domain, we have a lot of people at the bottom, some people in the middle, and a complicated maze inside the triangle that leads to one person at the top, who the triangle has granted the muscle to influence everyone below them.
Help me.
Oh, shut up. The triangle can be a government, a film studio like Disney, or even a tech company like Apple. Either way, power is a triangle. But what I've noticed is that there are two types of people who reach the top, time and again, luxuriate in authority: operators and builders. And here's how to find out which one you are. President Obama was an operator. People love Obama because he was a really good operator.
What sport is politics?
Probably most like football.
Football.
Yeah, because you try play, you get sacked, but
Right.
but every once in a while you'll see a hole, and then there's open field.
That quote about football is key to understanding operators. Obama started his career as a lawyer, excelled at Harvard Law, moved to Chicago, taught constitutional law, and thereby learning to speak publicly. Next, he ran for state legislator, won, ran for state senator, won, ran for president, won. His career moves were a tactical pattern in the maze. Like a video game, he followed the optimal route the triangle's infrastructure had pre-designed for success. Obama, as an operator, studied the triangle and then climbed a reliable path to reach the top. Obama has the perfect resume for submission as a president, by his own design. So what does this mean about what type of person is best suited to operate inside power? It means operators are high achievers within the infrastructure and methodically work upward. They find the paths within the system to elevate their position. They usually excel in school and have a high EQ. Operators' emotional intelligence allows them to find paths and people and avoid the pitfalls of human drama. Other operators could be Tim Cook and Satya Nadella. Or, as I realize I'm only talking about men, Whitney Cummings is also an operator, as is Megyn Kelly. Operators use the system's rules to their advantage.
I understand that as someone that like tooth and nail clawed my way to figure out this business, and I finally know how to do it.
Yeah, but you did
and now
it.
everyone's like, now go do this business that you don't understand at all. I kind of preferred when the lawyers told me I couldn't make that joke.
That's classic operator. Operators love to understand the rules and spend years mastering the playbook. Tim Cook worked first as a VP of Compaq and then at Apple as an operations guy, proving his efficiencies over 10 years until eventually succeeding Jobs. After he was on top, he accelerated Apple's earnings and raised the stock price by over 400%. Operators are comfortable understanding the system on an intuitive level. Is that a smart move or is that a dumb move? Maybe this describes you. I observe operators usually take on leadership roles naturally, and they volunteer to finish that extra mile of work. Operators appear intrinsically more competent than their peers, and they're usually the ones who moderate interpersonal conflicts between coworkers. But when someone is a naturally good operator, the one thing they don't want to do is get stuck believing they're a builder. This ruins their chances of getting power. Now, let's talk about builders. Builders are the second type of people that get to the top of this triangle. President Trump is a builder. And I don't mean a builder because he built condos.
Donald Trump. What are you working on, Donald?
Well, I'm working on buying St. Patrick's Cathedral, maybe doing a little rip-down job and putting up a very, very tall and beautiful building.
Well, that's just wonderful.
He is a builder in the abstract image of the personality archetype. Trump is a builder, not an operator. Indeed, Trump is a bad operator.
I'm a little upset with China.
Most operators couldn't imagine how Trump could become president. Unlike Obama, Trump has a terrible resume within the triangle of government. He never held public office. He had many high-profile enemies accusing him of various crimes. He had no friends within government and very little academic understanding of government. If someone like Trump tried to work in public service, he wouldn't even get hired for the most basic of government jobs.
Okay.
But that doesn't matter to Trump, because he's a builder, and builders take a different route to the top of the triangle. You see, builders move more like this. They don't operate inside the infrastructure, but build outside it until they're high enough on top. Donald Trump built his own brand, and his own financial resources, or at least his family did. He built his following until it was large enough to dominate the Republican candidates, and once he was the Republican nominee,
Listen, you motherfucker.
he then built on top of the existing Republican Party infrastructure until the party running against the Democrats wasn't so much Republican, but the Trump Party.
We will make America great again.
But there are other less controversial examples. Steve Jobs was a builder, but so is saint of progressive America Ira Glass.
We've arrived at Act 4.
Ira Glass built This American Life, the podcast, because he couldn't get a normal radio show on PBS.
WB's in Chicago, it's This American Life.
And when it became an empire, he commented he wasn't even sure if he would qualify as an intern for his own show. His mind is always naturally thinking as a builder.
If you're not failing all the time, you're not creating a situation where you can get super lucky.
So what does this say about who should be builders? Well, one, builders often don't excel as well as operators at school, nor do they excel in large organizations. Builders are as smart as operators, if not frequently more innovative, but they lack the EQ. Builders, I find, are usually more open and frank, but their emotional intelligence is often lower, and makes them poorly suited for the nuanced interpersonal skills required to move up inside the system. Builders tend to have a few big successes, followed by stretches of bad luck. Builders also tend to get undercut by people around them, and alienate others because of how they communicate. And when you're a builder at heart, the last thing you want to do is try and compete inside the triangle system, because real operators crush builders in the triangle.
Well, this guy's out of control. I'm perfectly willing to hand in my resignation tonight, but if you want me to stay, you can't have Steve. Settle him out.
Crushed. So back to power and where it eludes people's grasp. School tells kids to be operators. School, on the macro scale, teaches children that to become powerful in adulthood, they need to be operators. Learn the system, operate you weasels, play by the system, and outcompete everyone around you. This works for some people I know. Most people in my life are really smooth operators. The problem is not everyone is an operator, which is why, for builders, a person like Gary Vaynerchuk,
Your hustle, your work ethic, your drive is...
or Steve Jobs may feel like hearing Led Zeppelin for the first time.
Oh, I love Led Zeppelin!
All a builder's life, they're told operate. And then these people say build.
Quickest way to win. I mean win. Put out content, put out a great product.
To builders, it's like hearing a new religion in ancient Rome. But here's where I see people get into trouble and spiral nowhere for years, never achieving a molecule of power. Builders get convinced they're operators, and operators get convinced they're builders and start selling Chinese trinkets on Amazon.
Get you up here to the 100K club and to the quit job club.
I've seen smart people stuck working against their own personality. Figure out if you're a builder or an operator and own it. I'll tell you a story. When I worked at Yahoo, there was a girl named Darian. Darian was hired as a high-level operator, but really she was a builder. This is her and I in a private jet. She's the one with even less hair than me. We look like we're on a foundation for soft tissue sarcoma. Darian was supposed to be a new team leader, but she wasn't very good at it. Her job on paper was to manage a group of young journalists, but she did not handle conflict well, didn't understand other people's motivations, and never quite made the right moves. Instead, she was a builder. While at Yahoo, she managed to launch and crowdfund her own film that's now on Amazon. She got a modeling contract and started to appear in glamour videos. She even appeared as an interview guest at one of Yahoo's own shows, unbeknownst to her own boss and management.
Inclusive story, but how inclusive was the... Was flirting with her boy toy, and she takes a picture and she sends it to everyone in the school.
This was all while she was supposed to be managing people at Yahoo. Darian was a poor operator, but a good builder. And I remember talking with her about this on a diving boat off the Atlantic coast, telling her forget the job and focus on social activism, because that's her strength. It took her a while, but eventually she quit, and I think she's been happier and held more control ever since. She's in Denmark now, I guess, but she had to learn she was a builder and never going to be that great as a high-powered operator. Alright, so power and how to get it. In the world, we hear conflicting voices. School grooms us to be an operator, and social media screams at us to be a builder. But the truth is, if you want to succeed, put on earmuffs, go for a walk, and ruminate deep inside yourself. What are you? Builder or operator? And then get to work rising to power. Hello viewers, so if you want to know more, I actually have some thoughts about this specific video which I share over on Patreon. Post-game analysis. So if you'd like to hear more about my thoughts, go to Patreon and support this channel. There's another video there. Thanks for watching.
It tastes like childhood popularity.
Step on up, pay 'em no mind. You're alone with this one, and they're angry.